What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Damage Control. This is Mookie, joined again here today with Darth, and Menace is off right now. But yeah, we have a big blog post to go over today. It's pretty meaty, but we're just going to kind of touch on the highlights today as far as kind of the takeaways that Darth and I are most excited about, and maybe had to carry over some of the those big events that are rolling out here in that 2022 roadmap to other shows and break it down individually. But yeah, so we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, even last week, some interesting events, some things that kind of doesn't really affect Darth and I personally, but you know, we got some content creators and things that we probably just touch on a little bit and just kind of give some take about that stockpile horde event, campaign or team event. But yeah, a lot of stuff. So let me go ahead and just introduce Darth right now. Darth, how are you doing, buddy?
Really good, Mookie. How are we doing?
I'm good, man. Honestly, I didn't even talk to you off show about it, but I'll just bring it up here live. I don't mind peeling the curtain back a little bit. But yeah, I have actually my sister-in-law lives up in the Ukraine, and so she's over there. Yeah, she was in the not the meat part of it, but I mean, I guess you can kind of say she was like in Odessa area, and that's like the port that's on the Black Sea area. So her and my brother-in-law, they live over there. And so anyways, but they made their way out. So I got some good news yesterday that they actually were able to go ahead and they crossed over to another border, as far as getting out of there. So they're out of the mess and they're working their way back to the States. So that's been on my mind a little bit this week. So anyone that has family or friends, any kind of ties to it, or just in general thinking about the situation over there in Ukraine, yeah, it's real. And yeah, shout out to everybody over there as far as just prayers and thoughts, definitely that way, and hopefully things kind of ease up soon. But yeah, so enough with that. But yeah, I'm gonna jump onto the show here. Let's jump onto the blog post now. Actually, let's not jump to the blog post. Normally, my theory, right, is to go about talking about the past, the present, and the future. So instead, let's just hit on because I think we can end the show with some positivity. So we kind of start on some negative side. But what I wanted to touch on is going to be about this the stockpile event. And what's funny is I'm looking at the current gameplay right now, and they pulled off. Normally they kind of keep this on a day or two to kind of preview or show what events have ended. And the only thing that's still lingering over here is that we can talk about like the imprint event or the mirror image event that was all about Echo. But we don't see anything about that whole stockpile anymore. I did take a picture as far as the rankings that I fell on, and just to kind of share it with you guys that do watch our show, and again, we appreciate it. But what I fall onto, and what's funny is that I was trying to like go in here and kind of show where my placement was, and I can't find it. And I don't know if you were kind of curious in between a little bit, Darth, if you're looking through your past inbox messages, but it doesn't have my ranking here anymore. It looks like they even took that out. So I'm kind of curious of what's going to happen. But to get to the point, so I opened up 6 of the boxes to stockpile. So shout out to our alliance. They kind of came through. We didn't want to force anybody. And this was a very awkward event as far as even trying to plan together as far as like, okay, where are we going to try to get at on those boxes? We're going to go full clear, or we just going to get 3 boxes, 4 boxes, and collectively, with Willie's help, we just kind of looked at it together, and it's like, realistically, without any pressure, we can hit the 3rd box. But, we do have that slight competitive alliance feel to it, right? Where half of us want to go ahead and try to get some of those tier gear to go ahead and get into DD5. So I think we did a good job as far as meeting in the middle without much pressure. Whereas an alliance, we started collecting some cores, and we got to the 4th blocks. So, I mean, how did you feel on that first, as far as talking your take on the alliance here of ours, kind of coming through communication wise? I mean, did it feel awkward for you to try to reach out and ask our alliance members to try to push?
Like asking our alliance members to spin their cores at all. I would literally, I liked how it went down. Like the guys that were willing to do it did what they could, and other guys just kind of followed suit if they could. We didn't have to get on and be like, hey, can we donate an extra 100 cores to get to this 4th box? It seems like once we started pushing to it, we had enough guys that were willing to donate 250 cores that it wasn't that big of a deal. And we had some guys that were donating 450 cores because they were just making sure we got there, which was excellent. Yeah. But no, asking our alliance and the place we are in to donate all their resources is just
It's awkward.
I don't know. It just does. It definitely doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It's awkward. It feels like asking your poor sister for money when you know she's got 3 kids and needs it worse than you do. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a good way. It is awkward anytime. Like you're asking for money, and it doesn't feel
It
right.
is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we kind of started. We did it. It's what I want to say. We did it strategically, but truthfully, it just kind of came from pure of heart. We try to do something strategically to kind of pinpoint like a rotation about okay, 10 guys need to donate 250, and then the other ones don't have to do as much, but our guys are silently engaged as we are in war. And they did a good job as far as kind of looking at the where we stood on that little timeline bar, and I can see where people were just kind of refreshing where they need to, and once we hit it, they stopped. So it was more voluntary. In the end of it, at the end, it did become voluntary. So shout out us. So, anyways, so from that point, that was able to get us as an alliance two of the actual stockpile orbs, right? And then from there, you can kind of carry over and open up whatever you want, whether you bought that one cheaper offer and then start using your cores. So what I finished up doing was I was able to open up 6. And what 6 got for me was that I was able to land in the 11 to 20% ranking. So how many boxes did you open or orbs did you open, Darth?
4. I opened 4. I purchased one with money and then one with cores, just to get to that last reward.
Okay. And I'm just making a note. And you said that what ranking percent did you get?
It was like 31 to 60. It was after the 30%. It was 9 orbs or 8 orbs or something like that. Trash.
Yeah.
But I didn't open those orbs for that. I opened those orbs for the gear that was in the single person milestone for opening orbs. Like I bought that last one not because I thought it would bump my rank reward, but because I thought it was worth 750 cores for those unique pieces of teal gear.
Yeah.
Or the specific pieces of teal gear anyway.
Instead of the RNG aspect of it, you're able to choose off of
Right.
that milestone, right? Okay. And that's
Right.
kind of how I was
d-
pushing it too. And with that, again, thank you, to our alliance there, because right when we started hitting those milestones, I started seeing that's when you were sneaking in. I was able to get into DD5 web, started getting into it, and is there a fourth guy that's in our alliance, or just us 3?
Big Mac. I think Big Mac is in it too. I think there's 4
That's
of us
right.
that literally started within 48 hours of each other.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Okay, but yeah, so and then the carryover off of that, and here's kind of where I wanted to kind of get my opinion off of the whole community stuff, because that was one aspect of it. There was already outrage about that. Then it kind of carries over into the actual leader, rankings that we're kind of like discussing, where you hit after the 30% ranking. I was in that 11 to 20% ranking, and there was big try-hard alliances that are up there that are pretty much probably even used to like landing in like any type of team ranking. I would say that they are accustomed to be within the top 100, and to kind of fall off of that because of some type of, I don't know, it's, what word do you
Exploit.
want to
Call
use?
it, call it what it is. I
Exploit.
want to use exploit. It's kinder than cheating, but it's better than an incident. Like it puts a little bit of onus on the people that were doing it. Not necessarily saying that they were cheating, but they were definitely gaming the system for an advantage.
Yeah, and it's all about this particular right here. There's something that they were able to manipulate or found out about, and that they can kind of double up on the rewards or something like that. I don't know the details of it. I didn't care to kind of ask around, but something within that was able to kind of bump up their scores on the milestones, and some people were doing it, some people weren't. So at the end of the day, when you're talking about a competitive alliance, it's going to eat away differently on them. And of course, with that being said, and I'll just throw it out there, I mean, obviously, RemanX is one of the big content creators that I know that I look up to, not only for advice, but just in general, just his tone and mannerism and everything like that. He's a good guy to listen to. And to hear him upset about, what happened about it, which it made him one step away from the game and maybe permanently be away from the game. It just kind of feels as if there's some iceberg kind of starting to crumble a little bit with some of those alliances there, knowing now that there's not like a fair competitive integrity going on. So I don't know. Did you have any takes off of RemanX leaving or his response?
It makes me sad.
Yeah.
Is what it does. I truly enjoy RemanX's content, and I have enjoyed watching him since he started, basically for a long time. And I like RemanX because he spends his resources like I do. He's a big time content creator that's constantly out of gold. He's constantly out of red stars. He's constantly out of everything because he plays his game like I like to. Like he just pounds his characters all the way up as hard as he can, and he goes.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they did something to take this Kraken out of the game is kind of sad. It sucks because when you spend money to try to do something on an event and you're so accustomed to doing it, and you know that by basic math that you're doing more than your average guy, and you're doing it the right way, the way that it's intended to be done, and then you're watching guys exploit the system and get around it, and you're not getting those rewards now, and then you see the company that you're giving a ton of money to do it just basically ignore you and be like, well, here's a calendar for everybody, the cheaters too, or excuse me, the exploiters too. I get his endless frustration, and I would have it too if I'd spent money trying to get into the top 1% of this, but thankfully I was very apathetic about this whole event, and I knew that I wasn't going to rank high in the rewards, and I knew that I wasn't going to open very many of those orbs to get even very high in the milestones. So the cheaters or the exploiters didn't do anything to me personally, except for they took a content creator away from me, and they wrecked another content creator's of mine's his alliance, so that his content is going to suffer for a while because I'm not going to get to watch his war videos, or they won't be the same, you know. So I'm not angry. Angry is to say I'm not as salty as everybody else. I'm really sad at watching what it's doing to people that I enjoy watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, well said. I mean, and the flip side of it, kind of going on to the different tiers, like you mentioned, I mean, it doesn't affect us personally as far as our day-to-day gameplay and within our alliance, but it kind of gives me a different perspective as far as just looking at it like, hey, if I had any intrigue to try to get aggressive, to try to competitive alliances, and to try to get to that type of level or taste it, I realized that that's even thinking that you're in this competitive mode and that there's some fair balanced play, it's not going to happen, or it's never ever going to happen. And why put yourself in that shoes of frustration? So seeing it from the outside, I realized even more so like, you know what, I think I'm comfortable over here. Like it's just I don't want to taste that and be that frustrated. And I think it's twofold for someone like Rem, where he's, or any of the content creators are part of those competitive alliances are going to feel it that way. But then on the second part for Rem is that part of being in the envoy and trying to communicate over to the developers about what he knows is going on and them still ignoring it. It's like even the added frustration that, you can see on his stream when he was talking about stepping away. And yeah, that's kind of where I think it boils over to a lot of Envoy members. And I think that's kind of like, if there's ever a question that anyone that watches the YouTube content creators later and they're like venting and their rage and all that kind of stuff, I think this is why. This is kind of where it's at, where they're thinking that they're part of an Envoy to help a game that they love become better. And they're trying to share ideas or share concerns and all that, and it just goes off to deaf ears. And I think that's kind of where the frustration really hits and lands. So anyways, but yeah, just wanted to make sure, I mean, that's our take off of that. But take it how it is, whether some people want to continue playing or not. For me, again, I'm not in that type of level of competitiveness to try to feel it that way. I know I'm sure it would hit differently if we were, but I think our competitiveness is more against like each other, Darth. You know what I mean? Like,
it's you.
Yeah, and which is okay. I mean, I don't mind. I'd rather do that like fun, friend, competitiveness, pushing each other type of thing. And whatever happens on the outside with these other different alliances, we'll kind of go across them on the war lines kind of thing. But realizing now, even more so, who knows what type of advantages that they've been able to manipulate or find out or exploit, So, anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the blog post and we'll get off of that salt. If that was our salt, I don't know how salty that sounded, but
we have very light salt compared to some other guys. So
yeah, definitely. All right, so
I still love the game, man. I can't be totally salty about everything. I know it's weird, and everybody will look at you and be like, "Well, how can you love this game? They're doing this, and they're doing that." I'd be like, I don't know. They didn't. It doesn't. I use this game to escape, man. Like I use this game as video games are intended to be used. So it doesn't affect me in the same way that it does other people sometimes.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm gonna show this little intro. This is what I was editing a little bit. Let's do this little intro for the blog post here. See if you...
I have slept for too long. In ancient times, my reign was unchallenged until I was imprisoned by a new kind of adversary. I was defeated, but while I slumber, I dream of the future. One with the warriors I need, whose power I will use to bring about a new age for the entire multiverse. An age of apocalypse.
Well, there we are, man. Age of Apocalypse. So, yeah, so I wanted to kind of highlight the little video that was on, MSF's YouTube channel. And this is the big news. I mean, this is the thing that I'm excited about to hear. It's a lot of information. This is like the roadmap, for the 2022 as far as on what the game is starting to present here to the community. So, yeah, we'll touch on some of the highlights here, and it's starting with that apocalypse. Now we've been seeing the signs, we've been seeing some of the little images that they put on their social media pages, and finally they start breaking down about how that's all going to kind of unfold. So that's going to be pretty much as a Scourge event, right, Darth? As far as on what's presenting to us, the Scourge event is going to kind of be breaking up into being able to get into the four horsemen. Like, you're going to start off by trying to lock the legendary four horsemen, and then from there it sounds like as you build your way through this legendary unlock event that you're going to go ahead and work your way up to Apocalypse. I mean, how would you summarize it, Darth?
Yeah, that sounds right. It sounds like it sounds like it's going to be a rank reward, which is what kind of sucks. But it says that there'll be 10 different levels of what you can do. Yeah. And we'll be able to, push it as hard as you can, as far as you can, and you'll have 10 days. And the nice thing is it supposedly isn't going to reset like Dark Dimension. So once you've either quit out or you've completed your run, you can immediately go back in and try again if that's what you want to do. I like that it's early enough that they released the requirements for the top level. I like that it's Web Warriors and Dark Hunters. Guys are hopefully working on their Web Warriors anyway.
Yep.
Because for Doom Raids, so I think I was just saying I just got mine all to gear 15, so I'm excited for this first iteration of it. I'm glad that it was usable characters that are useful somewhere else. I'm glad it wasn't hand.
Right. And so, talking about the Dark Hunters, so I know Voodoo just came to the game. I haven't even touched base with you on that, but just so I don't forget, I wanted to know out of curiosity. Did you unlock them at a certain high star level? What you get for the red star pulls for Voodoo?
Reds. I got them on 3.
Did you try to push that hard, or like how were you going about your pulls?
I opened everything except for my Elite 7.
Okay, so you did kind of go aggressive.
A little bit.
Were you trying to land on 4 or 5? Like, did you have like a target?
I wanted 4 or 5. Kind of with everybody else. So I had predetermined that I wasn't going to pull that 7 for him. I was going to wait for Morbius for that.
Okay.
And actually, we'll get into a little further down the blog post. I might wait to pull that 7. Hopefully, they do it before Morbius comes out. But they're supposed to be taking minions out of the E6 and E7 orbs. So
yeah.
I might wait till after that to pull mine.
Okay. Yeah, I was able to hit a 4 red star. I think it was on those Elite 4s, or what do you call them? Whatever the 4 ticket is. Forget all the verbiage, but so I was able to get that and stopped. All right, so that's on that side. So that's for the whole apocalypse. Now, the next thing, and we're not going to hit on, there's a lot of information to go into the details about the scoring that Darth was kind of talking about and so forth, but it's just a lot to read over. But what I wanted to go ahead and do, it's funny. What's this news story? I didn't really pause and look at that. Is this just kind of them adding a story mode? Oh, I guess they're just adding a story right within the gameplay.
Yeah, they're coming up with new comic stuff.
Okay. So over here, this other one that kind of paused and took away is about the new PvP mode, and it's about the Cosmic Crucible. And this is the one that was supposed to be like that grand arena, grand tournament type of thing, where it's the individual tournament that you're having against 8 other players. So this is the format that you're coming up with. Now, this is the one that I don't know if I were to give a grade between the two events here coming out here, as far as which one is of your, so I'll ask you first before I give my take. I mean, which one are you more excited about? Are you excited about that Age of Apocalypse, or are you more excited about this new PvP mode?
Age of Apocalypse is really cool, but I'm probably more excited about the Crucible, this
Yeah,
Cosmic Crucible. That's going to be. I love war, and it's going to be a one-on-one war. And if it's anything like Grand Arena is in Galaxy Heroes, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be dope, as the kids would say.
yeah, this is the one I'm excited about too. So this is the most excitement that I got out of the blog post, is hearing about this, format coming in. Now, depending on how to break it up, and you said we'll see what happens, but it's ultimately a 1v1 against others, and kind of trying to see how you rank amongst that leaderboard in the tournament style play. So again, I'm not going to break down all the details off of it. That's going to probably take too much away from the show here. But we just wanted to highlight that. So that's the new mode coming out. Be ready for that. They don't have a timeline yet. They just keep teasing us. I felt like they've been teasing this for like over a year right now at this point. So I thought that this would be ready and released by the spring of this year. They didn't even put any timeline on that. That's really what I wanted to look for, other than the whole format. I'm like, okay, when is it coming out? And don't know, so stay tuned. So here's some
Dropping with the
costumes.
next,
You think the next like
yeah,
one?
the next 6.0 or whatever, the next
Dude,
iteration, and in our next update. I think it'll start. If not, it should be after that. Like they gotta give us this game mode.
they got to fix the game itself for some that are crashing. You know what's funny? Like, I didn't have issues with the first update about crashes, but when they did this new install, like to fix their enhancements in the game, now I'm experiencing some more issues with it, like crashing. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like if I'm going through the blitz rotations and all of a sudden I just get an anomaly detected and it restarts as I'm going through a rotation. It's crazy.
Mine only does that if I've gone away from the game.
Yeah.
So like on my phone right now, I'm watching Twitch, but the game is running in the background. So perhaps when I go back to the game, it'll tell me there's an anomaly detected and make me restart.
Restart it. Yeah.
But for me, it's rarely been in any kind of combat.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it hasn't affected me in the combat play or the raids and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's weird. It's affecting people differently. It's the bottom line. And here's that T pose. So hopefully that doesn't affect anything.
They advertise that.
That's just what is it called? Like yeah. Oh, sorry, the kids are up here. You may hear some kids in the background. But nah, yeah, this is them where they're trolling us. All right. So then the next thing is here. This is the third big takeaway for Dart's kind of hit on it. And we're talking about the economy improvements. And the big one for talking about Red Star pulls, and which makes everybody's butt itch, is when they pull a minion. So here's where they're talking about they're going to be removing all minions from the Elite 6 and the Elite 7 orbs. So you tell me, Darth, how excited are you about that news?
I haven't really pulled a bunch of minions from them, but I mean, it's good news. There's always the fear of pulling those. And I think that this is one of those things that the community continually cried about. And I never thought Scopely would change it. I figured they would just be like, that's the way it is. It's a damn slot machine, and you have the chance to get in the booby prize. And it's a good thing. Like, I'm stoked about it. I'm just surprised they did it.
Yeah. No, it definitely is good news there. If Menace was on here, he would share his experiences about the minion pulls that he gets, right?
Yes,
So,
Menace will want his minions gone, and he'll want new orbs.
definitely. So that's that there. And then the other thing, just to kind of wrap up, I mean, here they just kind of talk about some quality where they're giving some updates as far as, going through some alliance tabs, some of your characters that are like in cooldown mode stuff. I mean, it's a lot of little details here and there that kind of jump around about some enhancements. But what I want to jump into, just kind of been in the blog post, just again talking about what's to come in the next coming days here, coming up this week. And one of the big ones right here is going to be about this Red Death Mythic Legendary event. And that's where you're going to go ahead and get your second round opportunity of unlocking, maybe for the first for others, or upping the star levels, but that's for Omega Red. So that's coming out here, and I believe on the previous shows here, Darth, you said that this second run right here and the timing of it is going to allow you to get them up to a 7-star rank. Is that correct?
I am 6 shards short. 6 shards short of Maria. So yes, I will get it. I will refresh the crap out of the war store. I will get it
Cool.
tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight. It's tonight. So I talked about the day 27th as if that's tomorrow or something, but no, that's today. So
Yeah.
that's during the server reset. So be ready for that. And then the next one is just kind of, they talk about the, just I guess this was like a Facebook poll winner or something like that. But the Blitz that's going to start up on Tuesday is going to be for Anti Venom, and then the second round of Blitz, which is actually the second round of Kate Bishop, which I know we didn't highlight. But I kind of skipped over that a little bit. But it is the current event. If anything big that people may be pushing for, is trying to see where they land or how many shards they're going to get for the Kate Bishop, because that's kind of a free-to-player way of releasing it. So sort of, yeah. So, but there will be a second round of that, and definitely keep an eye out, because she is the cog that gets that Young Avengers team going in the defense. And that's actually, a good segue in a little bit. So those that are watching us here on Twitch, we're going to highlight some more defense on our, War Instincts video that, I usually would upload onto YouTube on Wednesday. I was a couple days late as far as doing that this week. But yeah, definitely Kate Bishop. I mean, I'm going to we'll highlight a little bit. Because I really wanted to pick your brain a little bit, and we'll carry it over more in detail. But I mean, what do you feel about the Young Avengers? I mean, have you faced one yet, Darth, that just kind of surprised you as far as how good they run, or has it been kind of easy for you to go against?
I haven't had any big ones that I've come across. I think I've only taken one full Young Avengers team in war, and it was a punch across with Shadowlands, and it wasn't over 600k, so it was easy enough.
Yeah. Okay. This past war, there was a surprise one that had them pretty ranked up. I mean, they had them up to about at least G13 across the board, and I realized the more that you invest into them defensively, the more that they become trouble, for the opponent. And yeah, you're gonna be surprised. And I know that one of the content creators that you talked about talks about a lot of war stuff, and he's been experiencing that. And I think talking about RemanX highlighted it a couple weeks ago when he started doing his, testing, and he really hit that when you get this team invested on there, all those soft counters that you and I were testing amongst ourselves goes away. So that whole Zemo with the X Factor combination, it doesn't work anymore when you get, to the beefy bishops and echoes. So something to look into. But that's about it. I mean, as far as on today's damage control, again, it's really I feel like adding like a dedication video to RemanX or something. Like if I have his picture scrolling across the screen or doing some animation or something like that.
Baby, come back.
Yeah, something. I mean, because he again, I mean, he is someone that obviously you and I look up to as far as just for advice, get a little fresh of air as far as just things that, for many reasons. So definitely shout out to you, RemanX. Hopefully, and one of the last things I would just kind of touch on is as, here's the silly me or silly you, as far as, we're just kind of doing this little stretch early mornings. We don't get big audiences and stuff like that, but, we do it for the fun of just talking, it out with each other. But I can't remember if it was like one of these streams. I want to say it was before you and I were doing damage control, that I actually was just kind of streaming in the evenings. And I was just testing, the Twitch world and just kind of broadcasting a little bit here and there. Very amateur. I'm still amateur, but very, very, very amateurish. And I'm like, okay, how do I do these raids? How do I hand the baton off, because I know that's like Twitch etiquette and I need to do stuff like that. So lo and behold, RemanX had his show going on, and I just felt ballsy to be like, I'm gonna just drop my name right into RemanX's channel, and I'm gonna send him my one viewer, over there to him. And then he gave me like some type of like channel credits and shit like that, in return. So it was kind of cool, as far as doing that. Like I became part of his subscriber. Like he gave me some free subscriber thing, and I don't even know how to use that. I don't know how much that's a big deal or not for Twitch, but it was just cool, I mean, he just kind of gave kudos, and that's always one of the things I remember catching him on the stream saying that, I'm going to switch it off to an up-and-coming streamer. Like he's just always giving back. So gonna miss that, and we'll see what happens, hopefully he comes back. But other than that, so I'll close it off again on damage control. Thank you guys for catching us. Catch us next week for we'll probably dig more deep into these certain game modes that are going on as we get a little bit more details about it. But we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of y'all's week. Bye bye.